Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. My name's Deb. I like to share the human experience to help others gain some insight into their human experience. I have been doing I've been doing videos since February, daily videos since April, and it's been a wonderful experience, good times. So here we are. This channel is called Awaken with Deb. Ultimately, it is just anything and all things being human, right? It's talk therapy, it's self-help, it's development, it's spiritual development, it's releasing what no longer serves us and stepping into who we are as our true selves. And what does that even mean? Our true selves. Well, we're all God. We're all just fingers and extensions of God. And the more that we can allow God to move through us, to allow what wants to come through us to come through, the more we allow all that, the better and easier life's going to be. And how do we get into a stage where we can allow more to come through? We do that by the first steps are always cleaning up our diet and checking in with our physical health, because those are two that are highly neglected this day and age. And those are always the first base steps. And maybe not the first base and steps, because actually that's how Awaken with Deb started. I started off as a personal trainer and saw that a lot of people, the issues that they needed to have solved in order for them to reach their physical fitness goals were issues that needed to be fixed in the emotional realm and the mental realm and the personal, how you view yourself realm. How do you view the world? How many stories do you have out there about the world that are holding you back and you don't even realize it? So all these things come into play for the betterment of ourselves, right? How do we become a better person? Not that we need to become a better person. You're always beautiful and perfect just how you are. You don't need to fix yourself. You're not broken. You don't need to heal. But this world is here for us to see what we can do if we listen to what we're supposed to listen to. And so I, for one, would like to take that route. And I know other people do too. So if you're watching this and you're one of those people, make sure you hit subscribe so you get notified. I do random lives all the time now, so that's fun. Comment so I know that this resonates, so I know that you're out there. And like for the algorithms, because the more support that is shown through numbers, then the more videos I can do, and the bigger I can expand my reach, and the more it's just the bigger and better we get, then the better of a world we can have, right? So I'm going to pause for just a moment, take a drink here. Wonderful. Okay, so there was 2 videos that I did earlier this week, and I think I titled them kind of the 7 stages of awakening. Mostly I just wanted to categorize, like, what are 3 things that I can really help people on that I have noticed throughout my journey. And those 3 things turned into 7 stages of awakening, or like 7 very specific timelines that I recognize as timelines, that I recognize as times that I was going through it and I needed help, or times that I was flourishing and was helping others. Like, there's all these different times. So on the first day, I talked about being new and aware and unaware to everything, which is you're still in the matrix, you're still asleep, and then something new happens that sparks an awakening within you. And then all of a sudden you start noticing that not everyone lives the same way. You start noticing that maybe coincidences aren't actually coincidences, but rather this thing that people call synchronicities. And then you just start noticing, like, maybe a better mind and body connection. Maybe you start feeling emotions come up more. Maybe you start, like, there's just things, right? So you start becoming aware. You start noticing what the school system's like, what the health system is like, our food is poisoned, like all these things about wakening up to what the majority has been born into, right? And then after that, so you're new and aware, you realize that everything affects you, you realize that you affect you, and then you start shedding. You shed all these things that you were programmed. You shut everything that you know to be true so that you can, and then you come into this healed and excited stage, right? Where you're like, oh my gosh, like I just overcome all this darkness and now life is healing and I'm excited. And as it's great to be excited and have this new outlook on life, this is actually just the beginning. So, what you want to do in this stage is build foundation, build the roots. Yes, you feel healed, but there's more coming, because as you heal, you're going to create a spiritual detox. You're going to create a physical detox as you're cleaning up your diet and moving your body more. You're shifting energy that is within you. And so, with that is going to come a dark night of the soul, because you're going to be releasing all the trauma, all the pain, all the darkness that you have felt within your body. And that's going to come up. And then so like as that kind of goes through, then it's going to lead you into a hopeful and lost type situation where you're like, okay, now that I've released all this gunkiness, like where's my place in life, what's my purpose, where am I going in my future? And then as you notice that you don't have the answers to those questions, and most of the time this doesn't hit you till middle age. So if you're going through a midlife crisis, this is probably this is it. Right? It could happen in your 20s, but yeah. And actually all these steps and stages, none of them are linear. You can enter into them at any time. Some people jump into healing and excited without actually ever really becoming aware. They just jump right into it. So there's that. And so when you're in that hopeful and lost, you're asking, what's my purpose? What's important to me, right? You're reflecting back to those roots that you created back in the healing and excited stage. What did you decide were your new values? What was your new purpose? And then that's where it brings me to this video, which is going to be the end of them. I've had all these ideas and I've been putting off making the last and final video for the steps. But these next steps, after you're asking the questions of where you're going, what's your purpose, are ultimately going to lead to you serving, you building community, you getting into, whether you're building community or stepping into a community, you're going to notice a newfound difference of community, of servitude. And that is where we fulfill our soul the most, because we're not here to live as Deb or as you. Like, we're here to live as God living through us. And we don't know the future for a reason. All right? We're not built to know the future. We're built to trust the future. We're built to trust what unfolds for us each and every day. And that's where the magic and beauty lies. And when you start stepping into the serving and collaboration, it's still going to be challenging. You're still going to have resilience that you're going to need to face, because you're instead of, in the first stages, it's like, me, what are my problems, what shadows am I going through, how am I affecting those around me? And then once you get all that under control and it's kind of like, okay, you know how to play nice now. No, now you can go play with people and community. You're going to have to start practicing reliability. You're going to have people that need you to show up, rely on you to show up. You're going to have collaboration opportunities coming up, and you've got to show up for that. People rely on you. And this is your chance to step into your wholeness, step into your worth. Know that you belong in that room, that you have something to contribute. You have something to say. You have gifts to be able to give to people, to share to people, right? So don't be I feel like stepping into this wholeness is what holds people back from awakening in the first place, because they're afraid of of the bigness that it seems from the outside. But when you get there, it really doesn't feel that big. It feels easy. It feels light. It feels like it's naturally the next step. So there's nothing to be afraid of, right? Faith over fear. And then you are going to have challenges as you broaden your community. We're always leveling up, right? And we're always refining who we are and what's important to us. And sometimes, even if something is important to us and is who we are, sometimes it's meant to be in our life only for a brief season, so that we can learn what we're meant to learn from it, and then take that and and run with that into our next venture, into our next journey, right? Like there's, I know people that do base jumping and they like to do aerials, but in order to do the aerial base jumps successfully, they have gone to water diving training, right? So do they have any desire to actually dive into water and be at the swimming pool all the time? No, but they want to be able to do that in the air off of objects with a parachute to deploy. And in order to do that safely, they're cross training. They're spending seasons at the pool so that they can take that knowledge and put it into what they're really passionate about. And that's what that next stage is about. And sometimes that brings us to the stage of the desert season or the wilderness or the season of isolation. And this stage is the stage where you really come home to faith, because we have been taught that it is always go, go, go. We have been taught that you have to always be striving and hustling if you want success. And we have been taught that if you're not successful, that means you're not striving and hustling and doing all those things. And that's all just not true. In the Bible, God put many of his prophets through seasons of wilderness, seasons where they just had to trust, seasons where they had to sit with their thoughts, seasons where they, and that's the hard part, is sitting with your thoughts and still remaining faithful and still trusting God, still trusting the path, still believing that all the steps you've taken up till right now still mean something, that they're still going to add up to some, and I mean, this is kind of a facade, but we're always waiting for some aha moment of like, oh, I got it. Well, that aha moment is always right where you are. I have them all the time of just like, oh, wow, this moment with my cat right now is amazing. Or this moment with this sunrise is amazing. Or this moment talking to these people on YouTube with my coffee in the morning is amazing, right? Like it's always about the moment that's unfolding. But that desert wilderness season is a really big, important season. And that's the one that a lot of people don't make it through. That's the one where a lot of people commit suicide. It's the one where a lot of people turn to substances and alcohol a lot. It's one where people maybe give up on their dreams and go back to jobs that don't serve them and just put their head down and go through life with their soul dying, not allowing God to live through it. And that's really sad. So if you can make it through that one, then you reach stage 7. And I think there's 9 stages, but I'm only at stage 7. I haven't reached it to 9 yet. I'd like to think of it as 9 cat, or like 9 lives of a cat. And so I'm at 7, which means I got 2 left. So like that's going to be amazing. So 7 I have put as it's the new earth. You're stepping into true nothing. You're existing as one breath, because we are all one breath. And the more that you realize we are all one, the more you can have compassion for other people. And the more compassion that we have, then the less conflict that we have, and the more understanding that we have, and the more understanding that we have, the less negativity that we have. And it just makes for a better world. That's all. I'm sure I could go on more about this, but my coffee is low and I feel like I've been talking nonstop. Sometimes our trust and faith does get low. Sometimes we're not patient enough for the mirror of life to reflect back how we feel inside. But that's the thing is, if you haven't heard this, please remember it. But when you're looking in the mirror doesn't smile until you smile. And that's what this experience of Earth is whatever's out there is a reflection of inside. And if you're not where you want to be out there, ask yourself, are you where you want to be in here? Because that's where it has to start. And I know it's really hard. I kind of have just like given up on a lot of things over the last few years. And in one side, that feels really irresponsible, but on the other side, it's exhausting being responsible for yourself and others. And by others, I also mean places of employment, holding things together when other people aren't holding things together. Like, it is exhausting to be responsible 24/7 for your entire life. And I say entire, like, it's as, yeah, you know, ugh, it's exhausting. I don't like to end it there, but I'm just like, my mind is swirling on so much. I'm gonna end the video there. Really, this video, it didn't start with inspiration. It started with, well, I need to make a video, and I didn't finish going through the 7 stages of awakening, and I wanted to hold myself accountable for getting that done. So done. Done is better than perfect. My name's Deb. I like to share about the human experience. Thank you so much for joining me, especially if you are a repeat tune-in person. Like for the algorithms, comment if this resonated with you, share for someone that needs to hear it, and subscribe so that you can make sure you don't miss the live notifications. I think that's what subscribing does for you. I'm still learning all this. So have a blessed day. Excuse me. I'm going to go watch the sunrise.